Racism isn't about skin color. It's about white fear of different kinds of people. It's not skin color that's the problem. The skin color isn't the problem. You can't change skin color. You can change attitudes.
Hello, brothers and sisters. Now, white America is falling, and the white people need to realize and accept and confront all the mistakes and the injustices they committed against the black community. Now, these are not my words. These are Jane Elliott's words. So let's watch this video, then have a really quick discussion at the end of it. Thank you so much.
I answered the telephone. My sister said, "Is your television on?" I said, "No." She said, "You better turn it on." I said, "Why?" She said, "Because they shot him." I said, "Who did we shoot this time?" And she said, "Martin Luther King Jr." And I couldn't for a minute think that the world was still spinning. There was no way I could explain the ignorance and the lack of civility and the unchristian behavior that this country was exhibiting with the killing of Martin Luther King Jr. And I was crying, and I was upset, and I was angry, I was furious. And I got my husband's supper ready. He worked at Oliver at night at that time. And when he came home, I said, "Tomorrow, brown-eyed people are going to be on the top in my classroom, and blue-eyed people are going to be on the bottom." He said, "Jane, you'll lose your job." I said, "If I lose my job for teaching something they need to know, I don't want a teacher." So I went to school. The first student in my classroom came in. They said, "Hey, they shot that king last night. Why'd they shoot that king?" I said, "We're going to talk about that." And I asked those kids what they knew about black people. And they knew every negative stereotype that I had ever heard about black people, and some that had never occurred to me. And I said, "Do you kids have any idea how it would feel to be something other than white in this country?" "No." "Would you like to know?" Yeah. It was like, "We've already gotten on spelling and handwriting. Keep this broad talking. We don't have to learn anything all day long." So I said, "Okay, today, we're going to judge people by the color of their eyes. Brown-eyed kids are going to be on top the first day of this exercise." They said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I mean, blue-eyed people aren't as smart as brown-eyed people. They aren't as clean as brown-eyed people. They aren't as civilized as brown-eyed people." And at that point, little brown-eyed Debbie, sitting in the front row, and this had only been 3 minutes, looked up at me and said, "How come you're the teacher if you got them blue eyes?" And I thought, oh, this is how this works, isn't it? Here, this little 8-year-old girl can attack her teacher who has been to college, finished high school, and she has the right to attack me now because she has the right color eyes and I have the wrong color eyes. I couldn't believe what happened that day. A tall, blonde, beautiful, brilliant girl came into my room in February, reading at the 6th grade level in 3rd grade. She had never multiplied. I taught her how to multiply the first 15 minutes of math class. On the day she had the wrong color eyes, that brilliant little girl made mistakes in reading, made mistakes in spelling, and forgot how to multiply. She came in from recess crying. I said, "What's going on here?" As she walked across the playground, 2 brown-eyed Debbies and a brown-eyed Cindy stepped up behind her, reached up, struck her across the back with her forearm, and when Carol turned around, Debbie said to her, "Now you have to apologize to me for getting in my way, because I'm better than you are." And Carol apologized and came in crying. No person of any age will ever leave my presence with those attitudes unchallenged. I can't change your attitude, but I can challenge your attitude, and you have to prove to me that so-called white people are superior to everybody else on the face of the earth, and you can't do it because it isn't true. People are wondering whether what she did 52 years ago should be relevant today. In 52 years, we should have solved this problem. I am so determined that we change the education system in this country. I am so determined that we change what we're educating people to believe. There's only one race on the face of the earth, and that's the human race. Once we get that into the heads of our legislators, we'll have a different kind of law written. Once we get that into the heads of the police, we'll have a different law enforcement. Once we get that into the heads of educators, we'll have different education. We thought we stopped Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream by killing him. His dream is more alive now than it was when he was living, and you have proof of it by what's going on in every major city in the United States of America right now.
Action is everything. Do you feel like I'm yelling at you?
Yes.
Yes, why?
Because you're using a stern voice.
A stern, honey, It isn't my fault you're stupid.
Would you like me
Now,
to go
you-
get my paper and pencil?
I wouldn't like you in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, then that's fine.
Let's get that understood here.
Okay.
This isn't a matter of whether I like you or not. Repeat after me. One hen.
One hand.
One hen, two, not hand, hen. 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 Lays eggs. One hen.
One hen.
One hen, two ducks.
One hen, two ducks.
One hen, two ducks, three squawking geese.
One hen, two ducks, three squawking geese.
One hen, two ducks, three squawking geese, four limerick oysters.
One hen, two ducks, three squawking geese, four Hemerick oysters.
Hemerick oysters?
I'm sorry.
Limerick oysters.
Limerick oysters.
One hen, two ducks, three squawking geese, four limerick oysters, five corpulent porpoises.
One
You can remember everything, honey.
No,
This
I
isn't
can't.
hard for you. Go for it.
One hen, two ducks, three squawking geese, four Limerick oysters, five, I forget the other one. I'm sorry.
So maybe you would have been better off if you could have taken notes for this, right?
I do not find the need to take notes for that.
I'm going to ask you to remember this for the rest of this time. Next one. 6 pairs of Darnell Varsies tweezers. Start with 1.
One hen, two ducks, three squawking geese, four Limerick oysters, five, I do not know, six, I forget.
You're going to have to know this. I'm going to keep testing you on this. What would be a good idea for you to have?
Paper and pencil.
Paper and pencil. Therein lies the beginning of wisdom. Now, 7,000 Macedonians in full battle array. Start from 1.
There was no other numbers other than 1, 2, 3, 4.
Start with 1. 1.
Hen, two ducks, three squawking geese, four Limerick oysters, 5, I still don't remember that number, 6, I still don't remember that, and 7,000, whatever you said, I'm sorry.
8 brass monkeys from the ancient sacred crypts of Egypt. Start with 1. Do you wish you had a paper and pencil?
No.
Do you think you're going to need one if I keep testing you on that?
Yes.
Then are you going to wish you had a paper and pencil?
Yes.
Yes. So in the future, what are you going to do when you go to a learning situation?
Bring a paper and pencil.
And keep it with
Me.
you. Did you learn anything?
Yes.
Do you appreciate what you just learned?
Yes.
Did you like the way it was taught?
No.
No. Any of the rest of you ever taught in that fashion?
Yeah.
Yes. And did you have to express appreciation for it? Yeah. Could you learn something from her example? What are you crying about?
Sorry.
What are you crying about?
My feelings were hurt.
How were your feelings hurt?
Just were.
Should I feel sorry for her?
I don't expect you to.
Should I feel sorry for her? Some of you are thinking, oh, this is too harsh for this young woman. James Byrd, black man in Texas, dragged to death behind a pickup truck by 3 white males. Matthew Shepard, young man about you're a little younger than you are, had the misfortune to be born gay, beaten with a pistol about the head until they cracked his skull. And then they hung him on a deer fence and left him there overnight. And somebody coming along on a bicycle the next day saw a bunch of clothing hanging on this deer fence, and they went over and started to take the clothing off the deer fence and found a body in the clothing. Now, I'm sorry, but those things happen because we live in a society in which people are allowed to treat those who are different in an ugly way because of their differentness. I cannot shed tears for a young white female in this exercise who knows that this is an exercise, who knows that it's temporary, who knows that she's getting a college credit, 1 hour of credit for being here. I'm sorry. I have to save my sympathy and my empathy for those who go through something much worse than this every day of their lives. And when they complain about it, we say, you took it wrong. Or we say, it wasn't racism. You feel real sorry for her?
Not really.
Not really. Why not?
Well, because she really didn't, I don't see where she was hurt in any way. I mean,
But don't define her. But as far as you're concerned, is this tough?
it's tough as you make it.
Yeah, but could you do this?
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah. Have you ever been in the situation they're in?
Sometimes, yes.
Yes. And would crying have gotten you out of it?
No.
No. And would crying have gotten you sympathy?
Not really.
And would that have solved the problem?
No.
No. And would somebody have said, get over it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tears were coming in my eyes, and when I saw these people crying, I'm like, but it wasn't for them. It was for the fact that I know people who are going through that right now while we are sitting in that classroom and had the privilege and the time and the opportunity to be going through an experiment, that there are people outside who go through that 10 times worse than any student of color in that room.
You don't know which sign to read, do you?
Blue eyes make good secretaries.
Isn't that nice? How many of you have heard that one before? How many of you think she read the right sign?
I don't.
Which sign did you read?
The one that says blue eyes make good secretaries.
You read that once? She thought we didn't hear you.
If I have but one life, let me live it as a brown.
Now, we're making progress here, right? When she read that sign, and you lied to me. 1, 2, 3. You read that sign. And he read this one. You lied to me.
I was unsure.
How many of you think she sounded unsure?
She knew what she was talking about.
She knew what she was talking about. How many of you think she's lying now? How many of you think she was finding excuses for making a mistake before? And was willing to say, he read before me the last time, that's the reason I asked. Did he read before her the last time?
Not at all.
That's why I asked.
What's why you asked?
I was unsure who had gone first.
That isn't
So
what you
I
said
asked
before.
him.
That isn't what you said before. You said, he read before you. And you said, yeah, I guess I did. Duh. Well, probably did. I may have. Is this a slow group? Do you know the physical aspects of the listening skills?
I believe not.
Do you?
No.
Do you?
Yes.
Okay, what are they? You're sitting up straight, so you've got one already, right?
You should look at the person who's talking and sit up straight or have open body posture.
Open body posture is crossed legs?
No.
No, no. Aren't you going to be a good listener then? There, now, this is open body posture. Shouldn't your legs be apart if they're open?
Why?
Not necessarily.
Like that. Hey, I'm
Not necessarily because
here. Bring it
a
on, honey. I'm ready now.
cross body position
Now, does that make sense, what you just said?
A crossed body position gives the effect that you are not open to what someone is saying. But when people's body position
Wait a
is
minute,
crossed-
wait a minute, stop. I'm going to make a sign and hold it up in front of you that says, stop when you get too wordy, and you just did. Do you know the physical aspects of the listening skills?
Apparently not.
Apparently not. Oh, I don't think you do. You certainly don't have an open body posture. Do you know the physical aspects of the listening skills?
No.
No. Do you?
No, Miss Elliott.
But you got a real open body posture, don't you, darling?
I guess so.
So you can learn, can't you?
I'll try.
You'll try. You might be one of the good ones, right? Now, when your hand is up, it means you're not thinking about what is being said. You're thinking about what you're going to say. You blue-eyed people think that I look angry. You're the only ones who think I look angry. I don't look angry to these brown-eyed people. Perception is everything. White people look vicious and ugly and non-caring and cruel and arrogant and powerful and condescending and angry. Are you angry?
No.
Oh, good for you. You angry?
Trying not.
Trying not to be. Now, does that take a lot of energy?
Yes.
Yes. Are you holding it in?
Yes.
Yes. And are you trying really, really hard not to react to me?
Yes.
Yes. And are you trying really hard not to look at me?
At the moment, yes.
Yes. Why?
Because I don't want to make myself more upset.
You don't want to make yourself more upset by looking at me.
Yes.
Right. Does that take a lot of time, a lot of energy?
Yes.
Yes. Is that hard for you?
Yes.
Could you develop an ulcer over this?
No.
If you had to do it every day, what would happen to your blood pressure?
It would rise.
Yeah. If somebody stood over you and you knew it was going to happen every day, Or you expected it to happen every day? Or it happened when you didn't expect it to? Or it happened to your kids every day? After it happened to your mother every day? Now, getting right along. Your hand is still up. You still didn't learn anything, did you? Didn't I just say when your hand is up, you are thinking of what you're going to say instead of what's being said? Didn't I just say that?
Yes, you did.
And did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
And did you decide that you were just going to do it your way?
I was.
Wait a minute, you were on a roll
yes,
there for a minute.
Did.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I did.
Now, since you choose to not listen to others, what do you suppose we're going to do where you're concerned?
Not listen to me.
Thank you very much.
May I finish what I was saying,
No,
please?
because you're still thinking of what you're going to say instead of what I'm saying. Now, getting right along.
I heard what you were saying.
You're doing it
I
again.
understand what you were
You're
saying.
doing it again.
I don't care.
You're doing it
because
again.
It's wrong.
You're
and you
doing it again.
Persecuted her for standing out.
You're doing it again.
Persecuted him for standing out. The only change that ever happens is when people stand out, and I haven't sat back too long.
Martin Luther King Jr. was shot. Are you in any physical danger here? Are you in any physical danger here? Is that girl in any physical danger here? Emmett Till was hanged by his neck after he was beaten almost to death, simply because he made a statement to a white woman. Does he have a reason to be angry? Every time I do the exercise, there is a point at which I know I have made the point. And we could stop there, but you have to nail it down. And so it goes on longer than some people think it should, but you have to nail it down. People at this institution...
You've made your point, you're right.
Yeah, thank you very much. What is my point that I've made?
That you can't make generalizations about any place because there's racism everywhere.
That's right. And while it may be... No. You don't come back in here until you've apologized to every person in this room, because you just exercised a freedom that none of these people of color have. When these people of color get tired of racism, they can't just walk out, because there's no place in this country where they aren't going to be exposed to racism. They can't even stay in their own homes and not be exposed to racism if they turn on the television. But you, as a white female, when you get tired of being judged and treated unfairly on the basis of your eye color, you can walk out that door, and you know it won't happen out there. You exercised a freedom they don't have. If you're going to be in here, you're going to apologize to every black person in this room. And do it now.
I'm
and
sorry.
the Latinos, every person of color.
Racism in this country.
Bullshit! No, you're not going to say, I'm sorry there's racism. You're going to apologize for what you just did.
I will not apologize because it is not a matter of race always.
Out. Out. Now, is she choosing to leave? Yes. Yes. She could apologize and stay.
I won't play the wrong game anymore.
It ain't gonna hurt her. It's not gonna hurt her to apologize.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
What's going on in this room alone? Once she leaves it, that's it. It's over with.
Okay. That ain't gonna hurt her. Is it gonna hurt her?
She, according to her action, it's killing her.
Yes. It's killing her.
But these people, they felt like it was somewhat traumatic. And I'm thinking, how is this so traumatic when they weren't cursed? Nobody was throwing anything at them. They weren't hit. They were just getting upset over minor stuff that happens to us, that happens to us every day, but they don't realize it.
One of our students left because she had the right to make the choice whether to stay or go. Students of color do not have the right to make the choice.
Her walking out showed frustration, not only of her as a white person, but of many people of color. And I kind of think that if somebody didn't walk out, that it really wouldn't articulate what we want to do every day. We all want to walk out. We all want to get away from the problem, but we can't.
You think she's learning anything in the hall?
Probably not.
Probably not. Did she choose then not to learn?
Yes.
Yes, because the learning situation is not one in which she feels comfortable or in which she feels secure, so what does she do? Leaves now. Lots of people of color, blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, Asian Americans, drop out. Well, they don't drop out, they get pushed out. We create an unwelcoming environment for those who are other than white, and whose lifestyles may be different, and whose culture may be different, and we make it uncomfortable enough for them that they decide to leave and lose the education, or lose the job, which means they lose their living. They leave as a result of putting up with it for years and years and years and years, and they risk a great deal. She risk anything by leaving? No. The only thing that she's going to miss is the learning. I think the exercise does indeed make them more aware. Things are better than they were when I was 13. They're not as good as they were when I was 50. Now, I want you to take out a clean sheet of paper. Don't tear it out, just turn the page. On the top of the next page on your writing tablet, I want, at the left-hand side on the top line, I want you to write the words, how they looked. How they looked, on the top line. How they looked. Then I want you to write 3 adjectives, not nouns, not verbs, not adverbs, adjectives describing how the people in the other group looked to you during this exercise. Everybody put your eye color, brown or non-brown, at the top of that paper. People in the middle put non-brown. People on the outside put brown. Yes?
You don't want to be either.
You don't have a choice. You have to be one or the other. Does everybody have to choose? Yes, yes, when you go to apply for a job, and it says color, or race, where it says race, I put human. Where it says sex, I put yeah. Read yours.
Confused, frustrated, worried.
Confused. Any of you confused? What were you confused about?
Why all this was going on in this fashion?
Why all this was going on in this fashion? Do any of you understand why this was going on in this fashion?
Yes.
Yes. What do you understand about why it was going on in this fashion?
It was a chance for everyone here to see what it's like for the people who haven't had to deal with this kind of thing, or who haven't at the same magnitude, to have to deal with it for just 6 or 7 hours and see what happens to them.
6 or 7 hours? You've only been in here since 9:30.
I don't even know what time it is right now. I have no concept.
That's an important point. He doesn't know what time it is, but it feels like 6 or 7 hours.
It definitely does.
All right, now, leave 3 lines under your last adjective. Leave 3 lines and put the words, how I felt, on the next line. How I felt. And write 3 adjectives that describe how you felt during this exercise. Read yours.
Foolish, apprehensive, sad.
Foolish, apprehensive, sad. How many of you were sad? Anybody sad? What were you sad about?
That you would teach this in the manner that you chose.
That I would teach this in the manner that I chose.
Kind of like fighting fire with fire.
Yeah, but that works.
Yeah, but I mean, I already knew the lesson, and I'm not really playing a game either. So I wasn't intimidated by you because I don't believe that people have power over me, and I don't believe that I have power over them.
You sitting on the floor?
Yes.
You wearing that collar?
Yes.
Did you drop your head and not grin when I told you to drop your head and not grin?
I want a credit. I want to get it that way.
Yeah, were you willing to do this to get the credit?
Yes.
Yes, so can I manipulate you?
Yes.
You can't, but you can't change my soul. You can manipulate my
Do I care
body.
about your soul? Let me make something perfectly clear here. This is not about your soul.
But the lesson that you're trying to teach is you're trying to change people's soul. We're talking about...
Wait a minute, you're defining me.
Well, I'm sorry.
That is not the
I'm
lesson.
sorry, but you define me as white, and I'm
no.
Native American.
Okay, you're Native American.
Yes.
You can pass as white, can't you?
Yes, I can.
You can pass when you want to, can't you?
I can.
And you pass when it's good for you, don't you?
I guess so. I don't do it intentionally.
Now, as a Native American, you know a whole lot more about being discriminated against than a whole lot of white folks do. But you still, because you can pass, probably don't know as much about being discriminated against, actively discriminated against in this country, as blacks who are obviously black. You can pass. People won't know you're Native American unless you tell them. Can you pass?
At first, I was really angry, and I hoped that I could actually, like, I would take her down. That was kind of like the reaction that I had.
I don't know. Can you look at me?
Yeah.
Do you actively tell people you're Native American?
If they ask.
If they ask. But how many times, if without, in a conversation, have you gone, oh, you know, I'm Native American?
I don't talk about my culture at all.
So what do you think people see when they see you? Do they say, oh, he might be, you know, Native American?
Well, I mean, I would.
Or do they say what? Do they see white?
That's what they see. But I can't ask them to see more than that. But I would hope that they would see me.
When people go through this exercise, I see this happen every time. It's very similar to going through the 5 stages of grief. First, they deny that what I'm saying about them is true. Then they get angry. You've seen that happen? Then they go into the bargaining stage. Then they get depressed. Then they accept it and go along with it. I tell people that I want to make a change, to become active, to become aware, to educate themselves, and then to act on what they know. But to act, not to stand idly by. The only thing necessary for the perpetuation of evil is for good people to do nothing. I want the people who are exposed to me to be determined to do something. Make no mistake about this is not fun. I'll go home tonight and I'll have migraine headache for 2 days. I'll have 2 days of migraine headache because doing this exercise is in total opposition to what I believe in. This is absolutely in opposition to everything that I believe and everything I've taught my children. But I happen to think that this exercise can make a difference in people.
Hello, brothers and sisters. I really hope you're all doing fine from wherever you are watching me from. Now, welcome to another episode of Elliot from Africa. This is where we say the truth, and the truth. If you believe the truth sets man free, then you are in the right place. Now, Jane Elliott is one of the very known scholars in the US. Now, she has been talking about the social justice, and she has been actually advocating for the rights of the Black community in the US. And she has been very vocal and very active in this for a very long time, since the death of one Martin Luther King Jr. Now, Jane Elliott has been calling out her own race, the white American, for all the social injustices they have committed towards the Black people. Now, she has also gone ahead to say that there is only one race, and that race is the human race. And any other thing apart from that is whatever is called race as a social construct. Now, meaning dividing people in very small and minor ways, you know. Now, she has also been giving examples of how the systems have been trying to divide people from whatever you have. Now, that's the social class you belong to. Now, from who you are as a person, you know, and from whatever ideologies you stand for. And now it has gone ahead to divide people on the basis of color. Now, she has been actually been very, very active on this, and she has been conducting classes, giving out lectures, and she has been on several interviews doing this equality thing. Now, do you really think this is the time that we as the Black community should actually leave alone other people talking for us and start talking for us? Jane Elliott has been talking for us, and she has been doing a very great job. But what are we doing ourselves to make sure that whatever she has been saying and whatever she has been fighting for really comes to happen? Now, a lot of things have been happening in the US, and it must be remembered that so many things, and which includes whatever Jane Elliott has been talking about, including the white privilege and the denial part of it, you know, and the Black American struggle, you know. She has been talking about the education and empathy of the Black community. She has been talking about very controversial things, you know, and all all she has been saying is that human beings are one, and that we have the same blood flowing through our veins, that we need to call to action whatever is good and the social justice, that black people should actually be treated right, and they should be treated with so much dignity, and that black people should actually also be not be harassed or injustices being committed against them. Now, let's talk a bit of whatever Jane Elliott has been saying in this video and whatever she has been advocating for all her life. Now, it must be remembered that Jane Elliott had been going around conducting the blue eye and the brown eye exercise, in which she tries to group people according to how their eyes are, the color of their eyes, And the whole thing and the purpose of all doing this thing is just to make people realize that we are one, And there is no need for you to classify people, according to their eyes, according to their color, according to who they are or where they come from. And this has actually, in one way or the other, had some group of people, that a group of people in the US and across the world have not been treated well just because they have a different color on their skin, And this exercise that she was doing was just to reveal how quickly children internalized superiority, by just seeing or by just being told things by their parents, and this is whatever happens in most cases. It is very easy to install dirty things in the mind of a child because they are young, they have not interacted with so many other things, so it is very easy to corrupt them and to corrupt their thinking. And in this case, we are talking about a situation where someone grows up knowing this group of people is bad, this other group of people is good, this color is bad, this color is good, and this color are inferior, and the other color are good. All this is whatever has divided us, and this is whatever has created social injustices in the US and across the world. And Jane Elliott has been strongly she has been strongly against this, and she has been talking to her own race on how they should be accommodative, and how they should change their ways. Now, she has also been talking about the race as a construct, as a social construct, whereby people are divided by who they are and the color that they have. And she argues out that race is just a myth, and it is not scientifically proven, and it is not rooted in biology, and there is no any creativity to justify this. Now, she has also been talking about how this has marginalized the black community, and this has seen them as inferior individuals, in the US and across Europe. Now, she says we are all members of one race, the human race, and there is no need for us to look at the skin color and at the eyes, Now, the skin color is just a merely evolutionary adaptation of whatever human beings go through with different environments, climate, and there is no need to justify racism just because you think your race is superior or inferior. Now, she has also been talking about the white privilege and its denial, that she has been challenging white Americans to recognize their earned advantages they have gotten just because of belonging to a certain race or having a certain color. Now, she actually confronts the denial of the white Americans of, saying no, that we are not privileged and we suffer the same problems as black people. Now, She has also been confronting the denial of the systematic racism and urging white Americans and white people across the world to acknowledge their role in perpetuating whatever is bad, you know, and the injustices that they have committed to black people. Now, I really love the fact that I do not love everything about whatever she says, or I do not agree with everything she says, but some things that she talks about are very, very true. And actually, we have a role as the black community to take these things seriously and try to change the narrative, you know. I do love sometimes when Jane Elliott is talking about how the black people also have a role in whatever is going on, and they should actually accept, you know, because racism is a learned behavior. It is not something you pick from the roadside, you know. From the inception of a child into the world, when a child is born, and how their mind has been corrupted with so many other things, you know, including racism, the systematic racism that now we talk about in this case, the racism that has been flowing from one system to another, from one generation to another. And there is need for the white systems to acknowledge now the white privilege, because they have been privileged for being or for belonging to a certain color or grouping of people. And there is need for us to have the empathy through this experience, the empathy that a group of people did not achieve or are not privileged to some things as much as you are, you know, or some people are not some people have the same qualifications with as you, but or more, even more, but they cannot achieve their dreams. They cannot get the job you have when you have lesser qualifications than them, just because of your race. And there is need for us to flip the social norms, and see how things have been unfolding for a very long time. How do we treat people of this class or of this social class or of this color and that color? That matters a lot. Now, if we preach we are people of the same race, the human race, are we really treating each other as such, you know? And systematic racism is also is a national crisis that should not be actually ignored or denied at any point, because so many people have suffered in this thing called racism. And this is very, very dangerous. It's very harmful, you know. And there is need for us to know that racism is embedded in American institutions, European institutions, and African institutions all over the world, you know. And education, healthcare, policing, and employment all have been included, or all have something to play or a role to play in the racism that is taking place nowadays, you know. And there is need for us to challenge everyone beyond their individual attitudes to change on how they treat each other, and look at the structural inequalities that come with you being a white or you being from the black community. And we should actually do the do accept that there is need for us to treat this as an emergency at the moment, you know. A lot she has been talking a lot, and there is a point at one point there is a point at one day at a certain time that she says that color blindness is harmful, you know, and that you should not actually accept to be brainwashed into the rock system that has perpetuated this racism for a very long time. Now, education has been a weapon against racism, and it should always be, you know. I just came to learn that there is a time that black people were not allowed to go to school, and they were not allowed to go to the same schools as the white community, and this is very bad. But things are gradually changing, and we must change things time to time. Thank you so much for having taken the time to watch this video. I really appreciate it. If it's your first time on this channel, please consider subscribing, sharing, and commenting on this video.